Hi, this is Tina Hewitt, Stampin' Up demonstrator in Adelaide, Australia. And today we're going to be doing a card class using the Spotlight on Nature stamp set. So I'm just going to do part 1 now, and then I'll have a little break and then do part 2. So I'll just show you. Alright, these are the cards that we will be making. So these are featuring the Spotlight on Nature stamp set, which is this one, and the annual catalogue. And I'm also going to be using one of the greetings from this stamp set, which is a really good all-round stamp set with your basic greetings that you'll use for lots and lots of cards. So for part 1, we'll do this one here, and I've got my bits and pieces here, and hopefully I've got everything else handy to do that. So in this card I haven't actually finished the inside, but I will do that to show you what my intention was for this card. So, start with, I've got a card base of, this is a half of an A4 sheet, the metric size, standard size paper, and so this is half a sheet folded in half. That becomes A6, which measures 10.5 centimetres by 14.8 centimetres. Then I've got 2 pieces of white. One will be for the inside of the card, inside greeting, and one will be a mat. Then I have a piece of crumb cake. I'll create the background on that, and I have another piece of pretty peacock cardstock to do a die cut from that. I'll be showing you all of that shortly. So now I'm going to do my die cutting first. So what I'm going to do is, because this one's going to be a mat, I'm going to die cut this one here, and for that I'm using the Spotlight on Nature's dies. So this is quite a unique set of dies. There are decorative circle dies, so they don't actually cut out any of the images on the stamp set. They are designed just to be an accompaniment, and you can use them for all sorts of cards. So the one I used for this one here, I believe it was this one here. Yep, that's the one. And I'll just bring in my machine, cut and emboss machine. I have to stand up to do this. So I could have used my mini one if I've got a small enough piece of white to cut that out, but I'll use one. I'll need that for embossing later. So I've got my first base platform, number 1, and I have 2 cutting plates. I need the thin die adapter. Okay. Number 2 goes on there. Got a cutting plate, number 3 there. Put my paper on there. I want to cut this out the middle. Because this is going to be a mat underneath that piece of crumb cake, I can use that instead of cutting another piece of white. So, a little tip for you. Save cardstock. So now I have this die cut ready. I do have little white bits in there to poke out of the die. I'll do that a bit later, but for now I'll just put this over here and my plates over there. Right, that's my mat and that's my focal point. Oh, I was going to do that one. So what I decided to do for this one was, in fact, to actually use a different one. So on the original one, I used this die, but I feel it's a little bit too heavy a border there. So I'm actually going to use this die and cut it out of this piece of cardstock. So, and I'll bring this in. My plates here, ready to go. That on there. And run that through. Cut an emboss machine. Now this one's got a nice pattern border, which I think is a little bit nicer than the heavier one. So then that is going to sit on that, and that's a prettier border. Then I'll stamp the greeting on that one. So now I'll do some stamping. So I've got my ink pretty peacock. I quite often open these stamp pads that way. I just showed you because I find that a bit easier than they're trying to pull them apart. I have funny hands, or one funny hand. But anyway, so this is a cling stamp, so it's a red rubber. So you don't need a foam mat or anything underneath, because there's foam under the rubber stamp. I always do a little pre-check just to make sure it's inking up properly before I start stamping on my project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in this corner and do a nice big leafy image there. And when you're inking up your stamp, you just do tap and go, tap around the edge of the stamp pad, and so you can use different areas of the stamp pad. You continually just tap in the middle, the ink will be used up in the middle, and you'll get a lighter image. But anyway, so I'm going to just turn this around a little bit and do a start going around the edge there. Another one here. This one might overlap just slightly. That's alright. And then I won't do any more on that side. I'll do a little bit down here. This is going to be the top. And I like to have the leaves going in this way, so there's no stalk or stem just floating around. I think that looks a little bit odd. That's just my personal preference. Right, now I've got a little bit of a blank area there, so I'm just going to fill in with a leaf there, and just come in just slightly on this edge just to fill in the tips. You only have to put ink on the very tip of that. So I've got that background. Now that I'll clean with my chamois or my stamp cleaner. Put this over here for reference. So now I've got that stamped. I'll stamp this one. Now normally I would say to put on a a foam pad, which I've got over here. It's up to you if you want to do that. I leave mine in the plastic so it doesn't get covered in ink, and sometimes I put a bit of paper on. So I just test it to make sure. So I gunk on the stamp, and then just ink that one up and press on the here. Oh. Okay. I think that's all my stamping. Yes, that is. Put that side there. Okay, so I have this one, that. Now I'll be bringing in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine now, because if you can tell the difference between this one and this one, it's a bit hard to see in the light. I've actually embossed it with an embossing folder. So that. The embossing folder I'm using is this one. It's a 3D design called Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder. So it's got a nice close pattern on it. It's good for a background. So it just gives a bit of texture. Now, with the embossing folders, if you put it through with the label facing you up, then the indentations are going to come through upwards through the paper. So you'll have an embossed side. If you do it with that down, then it will be a debossed one. But I'm going to put it through with this, and because it's a 3D embossing folder, I don't need so many plates. I just need the base plate here. Put the embossing folder on the top with the paper in it, and I have the seam, the fold going in first. Then I put grey plate number 4. This sometimes is called a embossing plate with other machines. So if you don't have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss, have a look for an embossing plate. So this is a different thickness. So okay, so now I'm going to put that through. And let's have a look. Okay, well, that's lovely. Very nice. So now that's ready to go onto the mat. What I'm going to do is use my trusty multi-purpose glue. Makes it easy. Especially with embossed pieces. Put that on there. Just gives you a bit of wiggle room. Okay. Now before that one goes on there, I'm actually going to put this piece of ribbon around. This was a very one of my favourites. Unfortunately, it's retired now, but I have a little bit left, so I'm going to use it all up. So I'm going to put this around to put on the back, to secure on the back. I'm actually going to use mini glue dots. Hope I've got enough left. I'm coming to the end of the roll here. So this mini glue dot just on the end of the ribbon there. On there. Just hold that card. I'll hold there. Then I just get the glue again and put glue over there. Put onto the card base. Press that down. Okay. So the difference between this one and this one, I've just remembered, I forgot to use the sponge dauber to go around the edges, but that you don't have to. It's just a little added technique. So for this one, now I'm going to just glue these two together. A bit of glue on that one. That one there. Then this is going to go on with dimensionals. Over here. And to put one at the top, one at the bottom. One at the bottom, just to because the ribbon will go across the middle there. Okay, so that one over there, that one over there, and then that. Now, this little butterfly comes from a pack called Paper Butterfly Accents. I've opened the pack, I've used some of these, and it's very hard to get them back in the original packaging, so I put it in a bigger paper pack. You just got to be a little bit careful with the antenna, the feelers, because they're very delicate. So as you see, I've popped some of these out. That was probably not a great idea. Anyway, I want the small one, which is this one down here. I'm going to find, I think it's on the very last sheet. So I've used some of these. There we go. So one or two. Oh, I think that's just one. Yep, that's one. So how do I stick this one on the card? Well, use the mini glue dot again. So if you by any chance have any of our kits, our card kits, those sort of kits, you can put a little tiny drop of glue there. Then you could use the glue. If you have any of our kits, they have little glue dots that are a bit smaller, quite a bit smaller than those. I'm just going to get this up off here. I'm just going to roll it on with my take your pick tool, and then I'm just going to try and pull it off and just stick it on the body. It does give a little bit of dimension that way, so you can't see that, but it's just on the body. And then I'm going to put that there. And that's enough. That one. Then I'm just going to do put some little gems on, if I can find them. They're around here somewhere. There they are. I have. These are the Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock foil gems. So I like to use my take your pick tool with the potsy end, and I'm just going to put a couple down there, and one up there. And so that's my bit of the card. Just for the inside of the card, I'm just going to stamp that leafy image again, just in the bottom corner. Just make sure I haven't got any gunk on there. Let's put a little bit down there. That's it. Okay. I'm going to there. And then this will go on the inside of the card. Okay. There you go. That's the first one. That's the second one. And I hope that came through okay. All right. Okay. That's part one of this class. So part two, I'll be doing another card, very similar, using the flat floral image in the stamp set. Show you that one there, and might do it in a slightly different colour. But this will be part two. So hopefully I'll see you in part two. But bye for now.